Hello, welcome back. Let's just continue. Just read the RIVA TNT 2. So this one is before we going back in time. That's the RIVA TNT. So that's just a short PDF. Let's read it.
RIVA TNT. Nvidia RIVA TNT Creative Labs Graphics Blaster RIVA TNT.jpg. A RIVA TNT card release date June 15, 1998. Codename NV4 Architecture Fahrenheit Card Central Level Vantar High-End Enterprise Support Direct 3D 6.0 History Predecessor RIVA 128 ZX Successor RIVA TNT 2 Support Status Unsupported. The RIVA TNT, codenamed NV4, is a 2D, video, and 3 graphics accelerator chip for PCs that was developed by Nvidia. It was released in March 1998 and cemented Nvidia's reputation as a worthy rival within the developing consumer 3 graphics adapter industry. The first RIVA TNT-based card was released on the 15th of June 1998 by STB Systems. Velocity 4400. RIVA is an acronym for Real-Time Interactive Video and Animation Accelerator. 1. The TNT suffix refers to the chip's ability to work on 2 tech cells at once, twin tecel. 2. Overview. The RIVA TNT GPU. The TNT was designed as a follow-up to the RIVA 128 and a response to 3DFX's introduction of the Voodoo 2. It added a second pixel pipeline, practically doubling rendering speed, and used considerably faster memory. Unlike the Voodoo 2, but like its slower Matrox G200, it also added support for a 32-bit, true-color, pixel format, 24-bit Z buffer in 3D mode, an 8-bit stencil buffer and support for 1024 pixel textures. Improved mip mapping and texture filtering techniques including newly added support for trilinear filtering dramatically improved quality compared to the TNT's predecessor. TNT also added support for up to 16 MB of SRAM. Like RIVA 128, RIVA TNT is a single-chip solution. The TNT shipped later than originally planned, ran quite hot and was clocked lower than Nvidia had planned at 90 Ms instead of 110 MHz. Originally planned specifications should have placed the card ahead of Voodoo 2 in theoretical performance for direct 3D applications, but at 90 MHz it did not quite match the Voodoo 2. At the time, most games supported 3DFX's proprietary Glide API, which gave the Voodoo 2 a large advantage in speed and image quality, and some games only use its Glide API for 3D acceleration, leaving TNT users no better off than people who didn't have a 3D accelerator. Even in OpenGL-only comparisons such as the case in Quake 2. The Voodoo 2 had upper hand as a custom mini-GL driver was made specifically for 3DFX cards to run the game, and most other OpenGL games at the time. The 3DFX mini-GL driver was not a fully featured OpenGL driver, but a wrapper that mapped certain OpenGL functions to their equivalents in Glide, and was able to attain a speed advantage because of that. Later on, when fully featured OpenGL drivers were made for the 3DFX line of cards, it was noticed that it was much slower when compared to its cut-down mini-GL brother. The TNT had 32-bit color support while the Voodoo 2 only. Die shot of the RIVA TNT GPU Canopus RIVA TNT Arcpelsa Eraser 2 with Nvidia RIVA TN supported 16-bit, although internally dithered down from 24-bit color, beating the TNT in 16-bit quality. Voodoo 2 cards also gained an even larger speed advantage over the TNT because of the ability to link two Voodoo 2 cards together in an SLI setup. TNT did not match the sales of the incredibly popular Voodoo 2.3 DFX's customer mind share was at its peak during this time, and Nvidia was still a somewhat new player. Again, like with the RIVA 128, the lack of Glide API support hindered Nvidia's opportunities for market share growth. Glide was still considered the best 3 gaming API available by both gamers and developers. However, TNT gained Nvidia much attention and paved the way for their refreshed version called the RIVA TNT 2. After all, unlike the restart the competition, Nvidia had come close to the Voodoo 2 in performance in some games, and beaten it in 32-bit image quality. Nvidia MS8830 with Vanta graphic chip, standard video card in a compact Desk Pro Evo office computer, 2001, in what would become standard industry practice on a massive scale in later years. Nvidia released a budget version of TNT called Vanta. This board used the same TNT chip but lowered its clock speed and halved both memory data bus width, to 64-bit, and memory size, to 16 MB. By doing this, Nvidia was able to still sell TNT chips that couldn't reach the TNT's specified clock speeds, a practice known as binning, and cut board costs significantly by using a narrower bus and less RAM. The board proved popular with OEM computer builders because of its capable feature set and low price. Vanta also was implemented as integrated graphics on some motherboards. TNT itself was used on several popular cards, such as the Diamond Viper V550 and STB Velocity 4400, both of which managed OE wins with the likes of Dell and Gateway, among others. Drivers. Nvidia's driver development with TNT was the beginning of their notably aggressive efforts to maintain the best set of drivers possible. TNT received the first branded driver within the industry called Detonator. These drivers were a huge success. While the TNT had always performed well on Intel-based systems, it previously lagged behind in terms of performance on then current AMD-based systems. At the time, Quake 2 was the benchmark for performance, and the 3DFX made Voodoo 2 enjoyed a large performance difference over the TNT because it had 3D now. Optimizations that negated the performance penalty of the weak, unpipelined FPU on then current AMD processors. The Detonator drivers included 3D now optimizations, and the TNT's Quake 2 performance jumped 30%. In fact, all OpenGL and DirectX applications benefited from such optimizations. This made the TNT a much more attractive 3D accelerator for AMD owners than previously. The Detonator drivers also fixed compatibility issues with motherboards of the time, and improved overall software compatibility. 3. The TNT was the last Nvidia graphics accelerator to have support for Windows 3.1x. Competing chipsets. 3DFX Voodoo 2. 3DFX Voodoo Banshee. Matrox G200. ATI Rage Pro. S3 Savage. See also. Comparison of Nvidia graphics processing units.
Yes, let's just stop the video before 9 minutes.